those and you can just use it that way.
On my phone.
Okay.
And that was, they neither remember.
Okay, let's shut up. I've done my first problem.
All right, everybody take your block to the wall, but don't stand on it, please. Don't stand on it yet. So push your block away to start. And we're going to start with the anterior tibialis muscle on the front of your leg. And I want you just to lean against the wall. If you're at home, find a wall. You could also just do this without it if you can. Can you see my feet? I'm lifting the front of my foot up off the floor so that you're balancing on your heels. If you have a wall, the farther out your legs are, the more difficult it will be, and the closer in, the easier it will be. We're going to do 20 lifts. Pull your feet up off the floor, hold it 2 seconds, and then release it back down. Lift, release. Keep going, hold, release. Notice what your shoulder blades are doing at the wall. This is one of the first places we can notice if there's a rotation in our body or an imbalance from one side to the other. That's 10. Keep going. You got 10 more. Lift them up, hold 2 seconds. As it starts to fatigue, you might notice that you have one leg that gets tired faster than the other.
Where will we fatigue?
You should feel it in the front of your shins. Like it'll be hard to pick that up. So this, when you're walking, when your leg gets behind you, your body has to pick that up to be able to clear your foot.
But if you feel it in your thighs, it's stiff.
Yeah, you might feel it in your thighs. So as your legs go into extension, knee extension, you might feel the muscles around your knee start to activate, your quads activating. Okay, do one 10 times. Leave the other one down.
Horizontally, now I feel it in my shin.
Yeah. 2 seconds. And then switch. Good. Turn around, hold the wall, and do calf raises. So up on your toes, you're going to use just push away from the wall a little bit so that your heels stay over your body stays over your heels. So use the wall to push away just so you're not leaning forward. Yep, straight legs, 20 calf raises in that position. All the way up. Good. Single leg, 10 times. Other side. back to those front anterior tib raises again. Lift. Toes off the floor or full foot. Balancing on your heel, release. Lift, release. Again, notice your shoulders, notice your rib cage. Where's your rib cage sitting in relationship to your hips? Do some big full deep breaths. Awesome. This time you're going to do calf raises, but your knees are going to be bent. So we're going to go into the soleus, knees over toes. Again, hold on to the wall. I'm just going this way so the camera can see what I'm doing. So hold on to the wall, push away from the wall a little bit. And then calf raises, knees over toes. Keep your knees bent the whole time. Yep. Down and up. And then single leg, all the way up, all the way down. Switch sides. Excellent. Let's go into your glutes. So inline glute contractions, you're going to put one foot directly in front of the other as if you're standing on a balance beam. And then straight legs, find your butt muscles, squeeze and release your glutes. So now that we have foot and calf muscles and anterior tib and quads active, let's go up into the pelvis. And if there's any rotation in the femur, so maybe those of us that have a labral tear in the hip where the femur doesn't stabilize as well in the hip socket, or pelvis where one side is a little higher than the other, or femur that rotates, we'll put ourselves in a position where our body has to balance, and then squeeze and release. Times. As you squeeze your butt, you should feel the leg bone move outward, where that pulls right at the knee, and you should feel both butt cheeks working to squeeze that thigh bone around. When you've done 20, switch. And then straight legs. Feet pointed straight ahead, right underneath your ASIS bones. And then squeeze one more time. Butt squeezes. Squeeze, release. And does it feel even between the right and left? Awesome. Okay, into hands, fingers spread wide, down by your sides. Spread your fingers really wide. Let the muscles work all the way from the hands up into the muscles underneath the armpit. So feel all of that turn on with spreading your fingers as wide as possible, and then make a fist. Squeeze that in. Yep, imagine you have a rubber band around your fingers and you have to press them all apart. And then squeeze them all in. And apart. And in. Push your arms all the way straight. See if you can get to your triceps. As you pull the pinkies away from each other, push your arms straight. See if the both sides of the back of your arm right here can activate. Can you find them? You have one that wants to activate faster than the other. Okay, into elbow curls. Hands into the golfer's grip. Fold the fingers into your palms. Elbows all the way together so they touch. Take a deep, full breath. Feel the rounding of your upper back as your shoulder blades move in, and then open it wide. All the way in, all the way back. Arm circles. Once again, let's go arm circles, fingers spread wide to start, so arms all the way out. And imagine that you're pushing your arms away from each other, and then notice if your rib cage wants to pop forward. So keep that front ribs in a little. Spread your fingers wide, 20 circles. Then make a fist, 20 circles. And then flip them over. Spread your fingers as wide as possible. Big full breath. Backwards. Fist. And release. Awesome. Come down onto your hands and knees. Round and arch your back, cats and dogs. Cat cow. All the way up. All the way down. Rolling your pelvis over the top of your thigh bones. Letting it move each segment in toward your middle back. Finally, head and neck up. Feel that deep layer of muscles all the way in toward the spine. Stay out of pain, please. So if you have end range motions that hurt, just stay within the range that you feel okay until your body warms up enough to get there. onto your back. Let's go onto your side, actually. Onto your side. This one has a couple of options. So the first option could just be clamshells here. You could be here, stabilize the trunk, lift that leg up. Think of something heavy being on that knee. Okay, here, that's your first option, 20 lifts. Here's your next option, is to come up onto your elbow, lift your hip off the floor, and then do that same thing. So find if your shoulder can stabilize in that position, and that feels okay, lift. Come on down. Now, here's two options for this next one again. So the arm is going to go forward while that top leg goes behind you. This is going to be a little bit of a rotation. Knee comes forward, arm goes back, leg goes back, arm goes forward. Good, so a slight rotation in your body. It's the first one we're starting with today. Reach. You may do this also in this lifted position. Arm goes forward, leg goes back, knee goes forward, arm goes back. And release. Other side. Good work. Pick your medicine. Just here or here and a clamshell. Stabilizing the core, letting the rotation happen in the leg bone as you bring that leg up so pelvis doesn't go anywhere. Getting that rotation just good. Initiated right there. The glute works mainly at that first action, and then deep six take over as that pulls up. And if you would like a little more demand, lift your hips off the floor. Same thing. Release, and then coming down, leg goes back, arm comes forward, knee comes forward, arm goes back, little twist. Or up here, same thing. Release it down onto your back, feet on the floor, knees bent. Start with pelvic tilts. Feel your hip bones, gently rock your hips back and then up. Feeling the arch of your back and then into flat back. Into an arch, into flat. See how high up the spine you can get that to activate. Can you move all the way up to your head and neck? Good. Hands underneath your back into the McGill. Big 3. Taking one leg out, hovering it off the floor. You may hold this position and that may be enough. We're accessing this hip flexor. If we can add some more to that, elbows off the floor, head hovering just slightly off the floor so that we're getting abdominals, transverse abdominis and obliques activated with the curve still in your back. So hands, as long as your shoulders are healthy enough to do that, hands underneath your back, elbows off the floor, head just hovering. We're finding some deep neck flexors. And release it down, switch sides. Take it up, lift, elbows, head, just barely off the floor, hover. Hold, 10 seconds. Release, switch. Elbows, head, leg, hold. Bring it in, release, switch. Elbows, head, hold, breathe. See if you can take full inhales and exhales while you're hanging out up here. So breathing behind the shield. Switch. Last one. And last side. And release. Onto your hands and knees. Come into a bird dog position. And then in that position, make little squares. And reverse your squares. And then set the knee down, take the arm wide and out to the side, and all the way up over your head. And then switch sides into your bird dog. Flexing the foot, hand in a fist, stabilize straight across at the pelvis, and then once you get your back and shoulders, set them in a position where they don't move and just the arm and the leg get to move. Little squares. Reverse. Set the leg down, take the arm up and out, like an arm glide. Awesome. Come down onto your elbows. Here's a couple of choices. One choice would just be elbows and knees hovering off the floor, or elbows on the floor, knees hovering, and a hold. Otherwise, walk it back into a plank. Separate your feet wider, roll your feet, come up into a side plank, stiff like a board. Then go back to square, shoulders and hips work together, coming down, other side, up. Keep going, let's do 2 more. Integrate that with cats and dogs or cat-cow once again. See if you can control those segments a little bit better. So start all the way at the tailbone, let your back arch. Feel how it can move in toward the middle back, between the shoulder blades, neck, all the way up to your head. Stay there, keep the low back there. Let your chin come down. Then let it slide, and then up through the shoulder blades, in toward the middle back, right at the bottom of the rib cage, tuck. All the different segments of your abdominals into your low belly. Finally, you can squeeze your glutes, and then go the other way. Separate the glutes wide, low back, middle back, head and neck. Head down, neck up, space between your shoulder blades round, right into the rib cage, into the abdominals, low belly, finally glutes. And then pelvic floor wide, open, coming down. Excellent. Press back child's pose and just see how your knees do. You can go knees a little wider. Yeah, just notice how that is today. And just go to the place where there's no pain. You can take your hands back behind you. Take a few deep breaths there. Letting your shoulder blades just completely fall off your back. Take some full deep breaths into the space in the mid and upper back. Your block just ahead of you, and then come into a knee over toe, or they call it an ATG split squat, ass to grass split squat. The knees over toes guy, I didn't know what his whole training method was. Why ATG training? And then I was like, oh, that's what it is, ass to grass.
What's that?
That's this move right here.
What does that mean though, ass to grass?
Trying to get your, I don't know, because he didn't call it knees over toes. Getting it all the way down. So that back hip flexor is really lengthening. Your toes are up on your block. And then let your knees go all the way over your toes. As far as it'll let it go. Just hang out there for a minute. Breathe, shoulder blades relaxing down your back. You could go hands interlaced, like clasped like this, and give a pull. If you've got some muscles in your mid back that if they activate, that hip flexor would let go a little more. You notice that change. And release out of it. Switch sides.
We used to call these
at the same time?
What it can do.
He's not very well endowed.
Towards heading off.
And then there was Skipper.
Take that knee way over your toes.
Nice to have you back.
What was the name of Barbie's dog? Remember?
Interlace your hands and give a pull, find muscles in your upper back and see if that lets that psoas release a little more, letting you go a little deeper into that squat.
You know what? Ken was probably the first transgender doll available.
Oh, they would love that. Switch. Hey, you may do the same thing again. We had a Barbie night for a friend's 40th birthday recently, and Barbie was pretty debaucherous. All over the house in different positions. It was pretty fun. And there recently was a Facebook one of her wrapped in a mummy with her toes sticking out. She still had flouncy feet.
Really adapt her to
Barbie's younger than you, Carol.
Yeah.
That's what you can say when people ask how old you are. You can say predate Barbie.
Okay, hands there. Now tuck your toes under if you can, and do 10 little squats right there. Down and up. Let that knee go way over that toe. Switch again.
Skipper.
Second side. Way over. That. If you've got it. 10 little squats. You may want to put your hands and pull fingers apart again to find those muscles in your upper back. Awesome. Release out of that. Come into a static extension position. So now that we've really opened the hips, let your pelvis roll over the top of the thigh bones one more time. Taking out any little bit of rotation that might be left. Belly gently hanging to the floor. Again, no pain. Knees behind your hips. Then shoulders squeezing together and let your head drop. Then with your arms, I want you to do chest openers, which are to rotate the elbow. We have a closed kinetic chain. Shoulders stay kind of down and back, so I don't want the arm bone and shoulder blade to move together, just the arm bone to move so that it moves the elbow. More. All right, sitting with your legs out straight. If you need to, you could lean back a little bit. You're gonna lift the leg up. We're gonna hold it for 20 seconds. So hold it up there, ready to go. Keep that leg straight. Now, if you can do that without your hands and sit up really tall through your low back, go for it. 10 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Switch. Lift. Hold. Release. Lift. Hold. Release. Last one. And release. Awesome. Okay, now fold your legs in. Try to lift your butt off the ground. We're going to hold that one for 20 seconds. Eventually, we're going to put the two together. But for now, find these muscles on the side of your body. Get your butt off the ground. If you can get your butt and your feet off the ground, that's a bonus.
Butt and your feet off the ground.
Hold. Release. 2 more times. Ready? Lift.
Oh yeah, Anna Bloom. You got it, girl.
Yeah.
Woo!
I lean back. I don't know if that's a coaster. 1 more. Does it count if you lean back? Counts any way you can do it. In yoga,
Yeah,
my
girl,
God.
come on, right here.
in yoga the move would be to lift here and then be able to swing yourself back so that you get it back into a plank.
Woo-hoo, swinging.
Release. Awesome. Okay. Grab your stretchy band if you've got one. If not, use this strap. If you just have a yoga strap, hook it around your elbows. Lying down on the floor and just pull out against it. You're going to do it as an isometric. Instead, you've got the possibility of a stretchy band of some kind, then feet on the floor, knees bent. Feel the curve in your low back. Gentle rounding in your upper back and the curve in your neck. Make sure that's there. And then pull out so that you're finding mid-trap and rhomboids. That middle back is activating one more time. All the way in, all the way out.
Where do we have this? The wrist or the elbow?
Elbows. Yeah, elbows. So you could bend your elbows like this, if you have those kind of bands, and try to go out that way. Yeah. Like an elbow curl. Excellent. Go ahead and take that off. Roll onto one side. Go into an upper spinal floor twist, allowing your arm to open. Squeeze a fist, open your fingers wide so that the chain of muscles that goes from the hand into the upper back is activating. Activating more of the rotators of your spine. when we changed this, when Pete added this or changed this, a lot of people were saying, wow, upper spinal used to be kind of painful for me, and when I do fists and fingers, it really opens up that place in my back with very little or much less pain. We want to stay out of pain. We don't want to irritate those tissues. And we'd like not to have shear force in a rotation. So we'd like the correct muscles along the spine to be able to twist you, obliques in the front and multifidus in the back.
So what did he change?
Adding this fists and fingers.
Oh.
And then untwist and roll to the other side. Go slowly on a side that maybe feels a little stuck, or those of us that have some kind of imbalance. So if you were growing up doing a one-sided sport, it may be that some of your structure shifted to allow rotation to one side much more easily than the other. We know that, like with rowers, they often will have disc issues, and one of the ways that they'll stop it is to make them row on the other side, but none of them can be competitive at the level that they are. They can't be world-class athletes when they row on the other side of the boat. So the structure has actually limited some of what's going on. So if you were a skateboarder or played baseball or golfed, could be that some of your structure has shifted a little bit. So go slow. Snowboarding can do it too. Untwist. One more time. Cat cow. And then press up into a downward facing dog pose that feels okay to you. Find a spot for an air bench. You could also do a free squat. If you don't have a wall, just come down into that position. If you have a wall, you can choose to stay in neutral, push your butt to the wall, or go ahead and go into a flat back. You choose what feels okay to you. One question is, do you have the ability to go between those two places smoothly with all that work that we've done?
It's smoother.
Can we do our announcement now then?
Yeah.
Tomorrow at 1 p.m. at the Park City Library Community Room, there is going to be a listening session that the city and the county officials will be there for people to express any kind of desires about any kind of senior housing in Park City and the Western Summit County area.
Cool. 1 o'clock.
It's never happened before that the city and the county have actually listened to people. It's been going on for 20 or 30 years. Nothing has ever happened. So if you have anything to say, or even if you want to just listen, please show up.
Come on out of it.
Has anyone come up with any concrete ideas about what could be done?
That's
I
what,
heard on the radio yesterday a lot of, oh, we can't do this, we can't do that, we can't do this. So what can we do?
Pause till after class. We have meditation first.
Oh, good
Go ahead and get into your position for meditation. Lying down, sitting, you choose. Close your eyes. Take this moment to first notice the things that make your person, your physical body, your name, your relationships, your beliefs, your history, your memories. And go ahead and kind of pack that up into whatever container you're imagining for the moment. A suitcase, a box, put it in a cloud. Allow that aspect of yourself to just be on hold for a moment. And connect to the space that's behind that, or that's bigger than that. Connect to an aspect of yourself that is non-reactive, that's timeless, that's right here in this moment. And if you notice a thought that gets out of whatever package you put it in, simply notice it, put it back in the package, and go back to this more open space. What's here before all of that? your mind stepped in again, notice and just pack it back in. Go back to the space. Go back to your experience of pure being. What's the part of you that's before thought? Before sensation? Go ahead and take a deep breath. Feel the breath move through your body. This energy that exists before the rest of it that makes what we've known as the self is the thing that connects us all. Maybe even the thing that keeps order in the cosmos. How do we connect into that energy that we all share? That energy before all the conditioning that is layered upon in our physical body, in our mind. It exists before all of it. One more deep breath together. And open your eyes. All right. Have an awesome day, everybody. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
I think we have the most people online and in class today than we've had in a long time, so thanks for coming.
Yay.
Thank you for your continued donations. I really appreciate it. It helps a lot. And have an awesome day.
Thank you.
Yours? Or no, that you can just put them by the
Oh, they have